right, welcome back. It is a Built by Vitality podcast. I am Steve Pinkerton. Sitting across from the table is
Philip Lewis.
Today, we're going to talk about learning to deal with failure. All right, which I have the perfect guest for.
Oh, that's great.
Well, I'm just saying.
That's true. I felt a lot.
I'm just kidding. But first, we're going to have a little fun.
Okay.
And usually when we have fun, it's at your expense. And I'm starting to feel bad about that.
No, you're not.
Well,
no, you're not.
A part of me.
You're just bringing other people into it.
Yeah. A part of me felt bad about the whole ski bike row thing. I did feel bad about that. He's already got PTSD.
I forgot about that one.
You know, so I feel like at some point maybe I need to stop giving you a hard time.
It's okay.
Maybe only once a day or twice a day.
I'll cancel my my profile on Indeed that I started.
I'm sure that's a pretty strong resume.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just set the stage of what's going to happen here. We are now going to shift gears and we're going to mess with Nate Agnew. For those of you who don't know Nate, he's been here since the very beginning as a thorn in my side, and now he's a very critical piece in this process of vitality. And I learned recently, about 6 months ago, he can't take vitamins. He can't swallow pills. He can't do it. And I just feel like we can fix that.
I think we can.
I mean, just through some straight
training.
And so the way we're going to do this is we're going to bring Nate on and give him like a 3-minute segment, and we're going to get him to talk about some of the fear or some of the pushback he gets from our new members saying, I'm not ready to join the gym yet. I'm a little afraid of this or that. And he's going to set the stage of kind of how he deals with that and how he convinces them, you know what, it's good to face your fears.
Yeah. So it's like a fear/failure podcast.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really know he's going to be facing his fear.
Yeah. So he's going to talk about how my hope is that when we break and we bring him on, he's going to get really into how important it is to face those fears and how important it is to just head on tackle those. And then we're just going to pull the old rug out from underneath them.
I'm just glad it's not me today.
So I've got some pills behind there, and then he's going to say, well, I don't have anything to drink with. And I brought him some water. Today we're sponsored by Life Water. Actually, we're not. We're sponsored by The Grind.
Yeah.
And Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch, yeah.
And if you haven't seen the new video on Vitality Fitness featuring the one and only Sissel Chest,
yeah,
you are missing out.
That, yeah.
You are missing out.
And once you start, you can't stop.
You can't stop. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to take a short commercial break. When you come back, there'll be 3 of us here, and we're going to set the stage for Nate to walk himself into hopefully a very funny skit.
Oh my gosh.
Stand by. All right, so we are back with our special guest, Mr. Nate Agnew.
Nate.
Do you enjoy working with Nate?
I love working with Nate.
Yep,
I don't think he enjoys working with me, but I really like working with Nate.
Oh, man, I think that's very far from the truth.
I was just
I
kidding.
think we have a lot of good times.
I think we do. Especially when I beat him in basketball.
Well, let's just leave sports out of this.
Okay.
I believe my favorite Philip sports story is when you asked him about a certain
Paul George.
Yeah, and he said
the old golfer.
Yep. So if you want to know his sports repertoire in one story, it's Paul George the golfer.
That's great.
Okay. So we brought Nate on. We're talking about fear, and we're talking about how to face those fears. And I think that what we thought was nobody faces this question more than Nate because he deals with all these new members, and everybody knows starting a fitness routine is scary. Starting a fitness routine is just it could be an uncomfortable experience to step in that door and start the process. So what do you think the biggest fear that people have that come and see you on a daily basis about the gym?
I think the biggest thing is most people, believe it or not, aren't like us. They don't have, I don't want to say the discipline, but they don't have that routine might not have been implemented yet in their life of working out on a daily basis. So a lot of them are a little gun shy. They're a little like, I don't know if I can do this. And then another thing is once they come in and you see barbells flying around and music's going and I think of it like this might not be the best example, but we've all seen Tommy Boy, right?
Yeah.
And when he first goes back to the factory and sees his dad, and he's looking around, and people are, hey, how are you? And there's stuff moving and going, and it's a million miles an hour. He's trying to take it all in. That's kind of how you can kind of see it in their eyes the first 3 minutes until you can really get there and calm them down and say, hey, look, this is what this looks like. It's a little bit of controlled chaos at first, but a lot of people are just a little gun shy because they might not have done it in a while. It might have been a couple years before they've worked out. And if they have worked out, chances are the last place they worked out was a Planet Fitness or a YMCA, which is a very different demographic than what we have here.
What do you tell people? Do you think, I mean, how important is it that you feel that they face those fears and they take that step and not give in to the anxiety associated with those fears?
I think you got to really break it down. And one of the few things I actually ask folks is, hey, what do you do for a living? And so that way I can put myself in their shoes a little bit and kind of take it at that angle. And the fact that if Philip comes in for the first time, Philip works at Wells Fargo. Okay, great.
I would stop banking at Wells Fargo if that was the case.
So would I. I'd switch to SunTrust. But I automatically put myself in their shoes, and we got to go back to the baby steps. This is secondhand nature for all of us. This is like the back of our hand. This is not the case for other people. So it's, hey, if I stepped into Wells Fargo right now with the routing numbers and the transfers and the deposits and withdrawal, I would be completely lost. So for me, I try to make them feel as comfortable as possible, as welcome as possible, despite the chaos, and swing it in a way that, hey, this is crazy right now, but you're going to fall in love with this in about 3 weeks. And you just have to break it down, like I said, get back to the basics, the foundations of what we do, why we do, and most importantly, why it's fun, why this is so much more fun than going to a Planet Fitness, putting your headphones in. We have the people around us. We have, obviously we're biased, but I think we have great coaches and great members that make people feel welcome. So that process is I don't want to say it's easy. It's easier for some than others, but we really just try to get them to feel as welcome and at home as possible.
Would you agree that if you knew that something was beneficial for your health, like working out, would you tell that individual, would you be very adamant that they face that fear and not give in? Because it's not like you have fear of like skydiving. That's a different story, because I don't know if there's, nothing against skydiving, but there's not really a health benefit to skydiving.
Yeah, if you skydive, you can live an extra year.
Yeah.
It doesn't
work like that.
You might actually lose the year.
Would you say that if you could associate some type of behavior pattern with a health benefit, it's even more important to face those fears?
For sure. And I think the main point, because everyone's going to come in here for some type of result, and I believe we've talked about this before, it doesn't matter what the result is, it's some type of fitness, health, wellness result. Mm-hmm. So if we can zero in on that, but more importantly, I tell the folks, hey, when you walk out of these doors, you're just going to feel better. Now, if you hit some bike sprints and it's 30 minutes after workout, you might not have recovered yet. I get that. But once again, give us 3 weeks. Give us a little bit of time. Let's get your foot in the door. See what this feels like. And I think if you can get people to believe that sign that's right in front of the door, if you let it, this place will change your life. And I'm a testament to that. I think we all are. And that sign gets overlooked because we see it every day and it just kind of goes by the wayside. But that's the truth. And if you let it, it will change your life. You will feel better. You will have more energy for your kids. You will have more energy for your work. If you can feel better, health and fitness wise, everything else around you is going to excel. No question.
I couldn't agree more. And I think you bring up such good points with facing the fear that all of us have with certain things. And I think that sometimes it just takes a demonstration to show our viewers, like, hey, we mean business. Like we practice what we preach, and that brings up this thing that I remember hearing. Nate, what do you feel when you look at like vitamins and like supplements and stuff? Do you feel like those are easy? Do you have trouble with like taking those or eating those? Or
it's like I live right by a truck stop, like an 18-wheeler truck stop. And to me, it's pretty much the equivalent of any type of pill outside of a Claritin.
Yep.
Is going to be the equivalent of swallowing a pill. That's about the size of an 18-wheeler.
Okay.
That's how I see that. And I look at that as a sheer impossibility.
Cool. Phil, would you grab a couple things from behind there?
Yeah.
So
Oh, boy.
I just got this hunch that when we talk about facing fears, in the water, please. That's sponsored by Life Water. There you go.
Thank you.
Now, what we want to do today,
This here.
we want to talk about facing the fear of swallowing vitamins. Now, I believe that Nate had said a second ago, when you walk out of those doors, you're going to feel better. And if that's the case, you just got to do it. Well, I will tell you, a man that is full of vitamin D is going to feel better.
Yeah.
All right?
It's
gonna-
July, too, so we can get it.
Yep.
So you don't really need the pill, right?
What I thought we could do is we're going to start with this little baby pill first. See, that's the size of that. I washed my hands about 4 hours ago. You're fine.
Yep, no worries.
So if you can barely see that, that's what we're working with. And just so we're clear, like this is gone. Like
Well, you should drink something.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm just saying that's how small it is. Okay. So I'm going to let you uncap that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty. And then you want to talk about the vitamin D
Yeah,
or
vitamin D, we already talked about it.
Oh,
This is really just for you.
just want it down
So I
the
want
hatch.
you, so the way that we would explain to someone to do this, I would put the pill in my mouth first.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a drink of water and then I'd swallow and try and open my throat as much as I
Everything
can.
together,
Yeah.
yeah.
The water and the pill
Yeah.
going downtown.
Yeah, downtown.
So let's just see, again, facing the fear,
Yeah.
knowing that's
Yeah.
going to benefit us. Is this,
when you leave this room,
when we leave this room,
you're better.
yep. And we just, if you let it, the podcast
Will
room
change your life.
will change your life. And then we're going to stick with that.
To be fair, just before I
Full disclosure?
attempt this,
Okay.
when I do,
Okay.
even a Claritin, have to swallow a pill,
Okay.
it is always with a glass open so we can get as much funnelage as possible. I never drink out of a water bottle, but for you guys, I will.
Okay, let's see how the first one goes. Oh, that's a lot
That's
of
a
water.
lot of
That's a
water.
lot of water.
That was good.
Great
Good.
job.
That was great.
And I'm not a fan of the gel, believe it or not. They say it goes down easier. I don't buy it.
Really? Okay.
But that was all
So
right.
that was like if I was gonna like try and get a preschooler to swallow pills. The vitamin D would be what I would start with. But Nate is no preschooler.
No.
Nate
He's a man.
is an animal.
Yeah.
All right, and animals are going to take a little bit bigger pill.
I was hoping
Yeah.
we would really stop at the vitamin D.
So these
Oh my gosh!
are a little bigger. So
Well, don't with the plural. Let's just
now-
make it sing because
Well, a
both of
serving is
those-
2.
So here's what we're gonna do, like just to show you again, just so we know that I would put both these in. Watch, both, right? Okay. Take a drink, and they're gone. Okay, they're. Oh my gosh, my brain's working better.
Your
Inflammation's
blood-
down.
yeah.
This is great. I immediately feel better. I don't want you to take 2.
Okay.
We're just gonna do singles. It's not like touch and go. We're gonna do 1. Little 10-second pause, get our confidence under us. Then we're going to do 2.
The second one will go down easier.
It's going to be great.
Here, I got this.
What do you think about
Well,
that, Nate?
when this goes south, are we gonna?
Wait a second. Read this again, Steve.
Oh, when you walk out of these doors, you're going to feel better. And
Yeah.
as long as you can say it to yourself, it's worth it. And give it 3 weeks, and you're going to see a change.
Your blood work will change.
I'm asking for 2 pills, not 3 weeks. So you would think that if Nate's practicing what he's preaching here, this would be pretty easy for him.
Yeah.
So what are you feeling right now?
A little bit of nervousness.
Are you a little nervous?
This is like Andy. Andy went and got his blood drawn today.
Oh, yeah.
He hates that. And I told him, I said, look, I think it's funny that you got to experience this, but there's some things that I really hate too. This is definitely one of them. Like, it's top 3.
If I had to judge, it's hard to see on the video.
That's not, probably not.
One of these pills is probably
It's bigger
5 of the ones he just took. Oh, let's give him another one.
Well, give me my water.
Maybe. Let's just get another one. We'll just. Yeah, Steve, you just swallow that one
put
down.
this prop over here. All right. It's almost it. Should I feel bad that I enjoy this as much as I do? But I really feel like we're taking a step with Nate. Like we're growing together.
Yeah.
This is
Nate's. He's like way up. Like it'd be hard for Nate to get better at life.
I agree.
So this was just the icing on the cake.
I agree. Completely agree. So are you a little nervous? Oh, you're a little warm. He's really warm. Okay.
It's just a ring light.
Yep.
All right. So just whenever.
Yeah, just one.
It's that way.
Oh, he's really getting back in there. A big swap.
Oh.
Let's just hang on a second because if it starts, I'm sorry, I am. But here's the thing: if it starts to go east to west, it's not.
It's only gotta go north to south, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
I actually, there's a first for everything. I've actually never seen a vitamin go in,
Come back
take a
out of
drink,
somebody's
and then
mouth.
pull the
No.
pull the vitamin back out. That's really impressive. So here's what I need
It's
you to
almost
do.
like when you put a dog's pill inside of a piece of cheese. The
You gotta
dog can eat
fill
the
the whole
cheese.
reservoir with water. The whole mouth's got to be full with water, and then you just swallow.
Yeah, but if it goes east to west, then it gets stuck, and then it's just like a gagging. And
You won't gag. You won't gag. Because if you gag, you'll be on national TV. This is
That'd
going
be
to get a million
perfect.
views. There we go. Oh, she's
Leave my
really back
phone
in
here.
there. Oh,
Oh, he's shaking. He's shaking. Nate, you're gonna run out of water. You got another pill.
see, it got stuck. I told you.
It gets stuck. You swallow bites of food bigger than that.
It got stuck because you drank 37 ounces of water.
I start watering.
Okay.
Good.
So listen, you only need a mouthful of water. If you keep drinking, you're narrowing the reservoir to go.
Yes.
You're trying to get a big gulp, one big gulp right down. You're taking it.
Yeah.
You're stretching that thing tight.
You're getting tense.
When people say that like Philip can chug water, I can't.
I can
Philip
soak
just
it
says
up.
The vitamins.
He just opens
The
his
one that he
throat.
didn't pull out of his mouth.
I took that one.
He just took that one.
one's
All right.
down.
So I just think that, like taking a nap, it's a skill. It's okay. So look, man, it's just one little drink. We put it in and water goes in. Watch. And you're calm and it swallows.
It's like
right
you
down.
never put the
It
pill
doesn't
in
have to be
your
in a
mouth.
hurry. If you're in a hurry, you're trying to swallow as it's not going to work.
And if you do this,
You can't do that either.
oh, this gets tight.
Yep.
It's like right here though.
Is it still there?
Yeah, 100%. Maybe we'll.
Well, the second one kind of push it down. Second one kind of push it down. So here's what I want. I want it in. I want a full mouth of water and then swallow.
down.
That's
Would
it.
I be able to ask for one request?
What do you want me to play a music song?
Just
play
a
song?
little, just maybe a little bit more in here.
That's plenty. That's
just a
yeah.
tad, just a tad, just a tad, just to be safe.
Pour that pill out in there.
Yeah, just a tad.
Oh, right with the old fingertip in there. That's good.
It's fine. That's I mean,
You might as well just chug it
yeah.
after the
We
pill.
might need it actually.
All right. Last little go around here. I feel a little pre-drink. Gotta get a little pre-drink.
Get wet. I think the other one's stuck.
Yeah. It's,
All right.
just get some
Gotta
motivational.
relax the throat. Yep. In we go. Yep. And
He's shaking.
under control. She's gone. Look
He
at that.
did it.
Look at
Quick.
that.
Oh,
That's what we're talking.
gosh.
Read the quote one more time.
When you walk out these doors, you're gonna feel better.
I'm walking out these doors soon. I can tell you that.
This has been a great segment. I think at least once a month we have to bring Nate in. We'll try and find some
Random
different
stuff.
challenges, and we work through it together as a group, as a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we really brought him that next step. We took him to the next step.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You feel good?
I will say that's probably the two biggest pills I've ever swallowed in my
Really?
life.
That's really good.
Yeah, probably like without a doubt.
That's really good.
I love that. That was
That's
great.
first time.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Nate. We're done.
Thanks, Philip.
Good job, Nate.
Thank you.
Just so you know, it wasn't my idea.
I figured it wasn't. Don't swear. I'll take it out on you though, because I can't take it.
I know. I know.
All right, we'll have Nate back on the show for real here in a little bit. All right, so we are back on air. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that went better than I had anticipated it in my head.
That's really good.
I'm not proud of myself. Let's just be honest. I'm not. I don't know why I enjoy
I'm just
that
glad
so
it wasn't
much.
me this time. It's just good to see Nate freak out.
Oh man, you guys, if you don't watch the YouTube version of this, you just got to make an exception, just so you can see the sheer terror in Nate's eyes when we pulled out that fish oil. So that was
seen
fun.
how big that pill was. That's so good.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up with learning to deal with failures. I'll pull a Andy Williamson at Factory when he's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna close it out."
Oh yeah, he does.
And it's like
Double hand.
35 more minutes later.
Yes.
17 songs.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, we're really gonna wrap
We're
it up
done
this
now.
time." Okay, learning to deal with failure. I think we all know that in life, failure is 100% inevitable. Mm-hmm. There's not one person that goes through life without having a failure or a setback or adversity. But for some reason, very few of us have been taught how to deal with it or how to embrace it. And when I say embracing failure, I'm not saying be okay with it. I'm saying that how can we frame our mind in a way that allows us to accept the fact that it's okay that we failed. There's a quote, I'm not going to try and recite it, but it's called "The Man in the Arena," and we'll post it. Maybe we'll post a link to it. But it's really, really interesting to me when you listen to it. Have you? Well,
is that the new one they put with? It was with the UFC promo too that they had something, "The Man in the Arena" or something, but it was narrated by somebody else maybe.
I will. Really it just says, oh come on. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I mean, that just right there, that gives you goosebumps just to think about. And I think that is the way we can frame our mind, is saying, look, I would rather fail by just going 100%, giving 100% of what I am capable of and just coming up short, than fall in the trap of what I think we're going to talk about next, is what I think most kids are dealing with now is, I don't want to try because I'm afraid to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to fail.
What if I don't win? What if I don't get this job? Or what if I don't get,
And so you say, okay, so how do you teach it? You teach it by encouraging your friends, your family, your kids, whatever. You encourage them to try new things. You encourage them to not care what other people think. And I get it. It's easy for me at 40 years old to sit here and say, oh, you shouldn't care what other people think. I get it. Yeah. I cared what people thought when I was a kid. I still care what people think. Everybody does.
I think it's even worse for kids now, probably. With
I agree.
How social media and stuff. When we were in school, kids are terrible. I remember 6th, 7th, 8th grade. It was just awful. Like the school I went to, kids were just hardcore, like bullies. It was a terrible school. But there was no Facebook. There wasn't Instagram. There wasn't all this stuff. And now that plus the kids, I think it just gets worse and worse. And they definitely need to be shown how to deal with it.
And again, I think that parents will say, well, I don't want to teach my kids that it's okay to fail. Well, pump the brakes there. Because here's the deal. They're going to fail more than they succeed.
Yeah.
And you hope that's the case. I hope that I've tried so many different things and learned so many lessons. That's why is it that we say, man, when I was in the military and I would meet a World War II vet or someone that's 85 years old, I immediately became so curious, and all I want to do is talk to that person.
Yeah.
All I want to do is sit down at the Officers Club and have a beer with them and say, man, what was it like? And
I'd like to have a beer with you. That'd be good.
with
you.
Oh, with me. and you think about all the experiences that they had. Who wants to sit down with? And again, I'm not saying that if you weren't in the Marine Corps, I don't want to talk to you. That's an example. But who wants to sit down with someone and you say, hey, what was it like when you did this, this, and this? And they're like, oh, well, I didn't do that. I didn't do anything because I wanted to play it safe and make sure that I stayed in my little bubble of comfort. And no one wants to talk to that person because
it's not interesting.
They don't have any lessons to teach me. Mm-mm. But man, to think about, again, I go back to the military, to think about meeting someone from the Battle of the Bulge that fought right there at Bastogne. I mean, can you imagine what you could learn from what the stories you could hear from that individual that lived that? So that's why I think that, you look at later in life and it's those people that have done so much, that have so much to give to others.
Yeah.
And I want that to be me. I want to be that guy that has failed at so many things, but man, it helped build me to who I am. Why is it in the Marine Corps they break you down and they make you fail over and over and over and over again? Because they want you humble. They want to teach you humility. It's the same thing. And I think now you face this problem of, one sport athletes. When we were kids, you didn't play one sport. You played a bunch of sports. Yeah. And the reality is, most of the time, we weren't that good at multiple sports. You're good at one sport. I had my football coach made me run track. I was terrible at track.
And you got a trophy or a ribbon or whatever if you won.
Yeah, well, yeah. Agreed.
Everybody didn't get one.
Yeah. And you think back of it, I can't think of one ribbon or trophy. I like it, the Gus Macker 3-on-3 tournaments. Oh. In Michigan, up in the Northeast, they had these things called the Gus Macker, and it was like a traveling 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And they gave out these really cool trophies. Those are the only trophies. My mom brought them down to me 3-4 years ago. I was like, hey, we found all these.
Trophies.
And I couldn't get myself to throw them away because they're just, I don't know, they were just cool. But anyway.
Like field day at school, remember that? Where you do field day? I think now everybody gets something. Mm-hmm. Back when I did field day or whatever, like you had to do good at it. It was like a little mini Olympics on the schoolyard.
Yeah. And so now the problem you run into, and I see it with my kid, she's gotten to be really good at volleyball. She's getting good. And I was so proud of her because she wanted to play lacrosse. She wanted to try lacrosse. Let me tell you one of the most uncoordinated things to try, or the one sport that makes you look extremely uncoordinated when you're learning is lacrosse.
That's like, soccer, rugby, and volleyball, all that in one.
Baseball, it's like all mixed into one. But the hand-eye coordination that you can learn from that, I can't stop thinking about how amazing that's going to make you at every other sport you play. It doesn't matter what it is. So she played that, and but the reality was, I was explaining to her, if she wouldn't have played this year, I don't think she'd ever play again. Yeah. Because who in high school these days, as a freshman girl, is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go play a sport that I'm going to suck at for a year and do it in front of all the boys, all the school, all my friends, and try to learn that. So in middle school, that's where it's most important. And I think we're missing that because parents are allowing these kids to just get sucked into one sport. And the reason they get sucked into that one sport is because they start to get good at it. Of course they're good at it. They do it all the time. Yeah. But we don't develop a lot of these other skills because we're not doing anything different. And now when we don't try these, and again, I'm not saying that if you don't play sports, you're missing the whole boat. I'm just saying that's the easiest way to teach kids how to fail. The easiest way to teach kids that, failure is inevitable. Nobody goes through their sports career without losing. Yeah. And so if you do that as a kid and you only play one sport, well, now you don't develop that skill. And what happens when you're older? now you don't want to try these new things, or when you do, you don't, you kind of lose the ability to make fun of yourself. And you've been around me in yoga. I'm like a beached whale in yoga. I'm terrible at it. Okay, I look like an idiot. I'm terrible. Everybody saw me doing the mobility things during
the Instagram Live.
Yeah,
I've never seen nobody cramp up during some yoga.
I know, and that's not fun for me, doing things that I'm not good at.
Duh.
But at the same time, I can frame my mind in a way, say, you know what, I need to be doing this, and I don't care if someone wants to make fun of me because I cramp up doing the old.
I bet you were more loose then.
Yeah, probably.
We did it once, twice a week or whatever. We do that.
And so I think that's what I'm trying to get at here is we need to develop the habit of A, accepting the fact that we're going to fail, and B, not having that failure be the driver of whether we do it or not do it. Now, obviously, you can say, okay, well, if you're deciding on whether to start a business or not and you think you're going to fail, you probably shouldn't do it. But in most cases, the things that we do, we have so many options of things that we can take part in that don't have those type of consequences associated to them. It's, hey, I'm going to go join a kickball league. I'm going to go join a softball. I played in the softball thing with Vitality, Jeff Moore, all these guys. That Lee Crane is like super good at softball. I was completely out of my league. I think
You weren't good at that?
No, man.
I thought you'd be good at softball.
I never played baseball. That was one sport I didn't play growing up. I played football, basketball, track, soccer. Never baseball.
I could see you doing baseball over soccer.
Yeah, terrible. I was terrible. I struck out softball. Struck out.
That ball's pretty big too.
And I didn't struck out watching. I struck out swinging. Okay, and look.
Because you tried.
And does anybody still remember? Actually, that's everybody remembers me striking out. But does anybody, outside of my friend group, does anybody remember? Like, am I going to go meet someone on the street? It's like, oh, you're that guy that struck out in softball.
Yeah.
No,
you
man.
suck at softball.
It was fun. It was a fun thing to do that. It took me out of my comfort zone. I failed miserably, but it got me, whatever. I don't know what lesson it taught me, but it taught me something. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And I think that so many times we base our decisions whether to do certain things off of, well, can I win, or am I going to be good at it, or whatever. And that's like we talked with Nate. The anxiety of starting a fitness program when you don't know anything about a barbell, that's daunting. But is it worth saying, you know what, I'd rather not look like an idiot and legitimately take years off my life? Because that's truly what a good fitness program will do for you, is add years to your life. I guarantee it. And I'll argue till I'm blue in the face about that. It doesn't have to be max deadlifts. I'm just saying, getting involved in a fitness program, whether it's CrossFit or boot camp, whatever it is, it's going to extend your life.
Yeah.
So is it worth passing on because of, I might look dumb for a week or two?
True.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares. But if you don't learn that as a kid, I think you're gonna find yourself in a precarious position when you get older. And I don't know if you can make the correlation between leadership and this skill of understanding how to fail and understanding that it's okay and accepting it. But I sure would make the case that I would argue that there is a correlation between the two.
I think life's going to smack a lot of kids in the face or the mouth when they get to like a real job or the real world or something. Because I think a lot of people are they're like, oh, we got to tell our kids yes. You got to give them the trophies. You got to give them all this. They're just give them what they want, make them feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get out of, even through college, then when they get out of college and they go get that real job, I think first time their boss tells them no, or they don't get a promotion, or they don't get something they're used to always having, that they're going to be like, well, this isn't fair. This isn't what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Because they haven't experienced none of that.
Yeah, and I don't think it's hard to recognize who has that skill and who doesn't have that skill. And to be honest with you, in the Vitality world over the last 12 years, I actually really enjoy more than I probably should people that don't have that skill, that has to learn it the hard way. The ones that aren't humble, the ones that haven't lost a lot. I love it when my girls in here will put a beating to them, and they see very quickly, like, hey, you know what? I'm not what I thought I was, and that makes me happier than it should. But that's just one more reason that I think a group environment is, whether it's sports, whether it's fitness, whether it's getting a group of people at work and surrounding yourself with people that can joke around. It can even be as much as, sure, dealing with failure, but let me put it to you this way, and then we'll close out for real. I would think that your ability to take a joke or your sense of humor is directly related to your ability to deal with failure. I think that if you can take a joke, if you can give someone a hard time and take it right back, I think you have the ability. You've learned that it's okay. The people that can't do that, the people that can't take a joke, and we all know someone that don't joke around with him. He's got no sense of humor.
Can't mess with them.
I think that is the correlation between someone that just hasn't been exposed to a lot. They haven't done a lot. They haven't tried a lot of different things. What do you think about that?
I think so, because growing up, if you're in sports or any type of thing like that, you're going to experience that and get used to that.
Yeah.
You might not like it, but you'll get used to it and be easy when you get older to brush that off. You're like, oh my God, we're just messing around. It's whatever. Yeah. But if you've never experienced that, you're going to be like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. Like, you're going to get really defensive, try to, whatever they're messing with you about, you're going to try to justify why they're wrong, and you're going to just fight back on it instead of just goofing off.
And I think what you'll find is the guys and the girls that struggle with this are the transient ones that go from job to job, and they're trying to find that home. And look, everyone knows you're gonna try 2 to 3 different jobs before you land the one that. And I'm not saying that you have to take the first job and that's the one you should do. I'm just saying that when you find people that are always moving from job to job to job to job, there's a reason for that, And I come back to Vitality. I'm very lucky. We have a group of people that we have more fun than I think I would put us against anybody in the fun department of how much we joke around with each other, how much we mess with each other, and there's a reason why our average employee is 7+ years here. It's because we've got the nucleus of people that are here are the ones that can handle that, and they're fun to be around. The more experiences you have, I would equate that to the more enjoyable you're going to be around. Yeah. So, I hope that maybe you can make an argument another way. I'd love to hear the opposite side of that.
There's a flip side. The only flip side I would say real quick is the people that go job to job or whatever. Maybe there's, say you are like one of us and we joke around and whatever, you're like that, but your workplace is opposite.
Yeah. And you're trying to find
what we have.
Yeah.
And you go to work every day and these people don't joke around. They are miserable. They're just like, man, this place sucks. They're negative all day. And you're like, God, do I really want to be like, I'm not like these people.
Yeah.
I've got to find something else. This is depressing to come here every day.
Yeah.
And maybe you got somebody like that trying to get out of it or something.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, I think that you should be able to, after your second or third job, when you sit down for those interviews, you should be able to start to tell those experiences that you've had. It's the same thing. If you've only had one job your whole life, you don't know any difference. And maybe you're lucky that you just happen to find that perfect job. You got it. But the majority of people, they don't hit it in their first time. So now they've got to learn from that first job, make some mistakes. They let themselves get taken advantage of a little bit, and now they come back and they're like, okay, hey, I got a couple more tools in my toolbox. That won't happen again. Then something else happens. You're like, oh man.
They learn from it.
And you learn some more. It's like we said, we did the podcast, win or learn. If you lose, fine, but learn something from it.
Yeah.
Figure out what you did. Take some notes. and again, I don't want to keep coming back to my Reagan, but there was a tournament where they switched up the rotation. She used to play, she'd play the whole game, and there was a tournament in Florida. They took her out for the majority of a game, and when she finished, I talked to her. I said, "Man, what was it like watching from the sidelines?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't. It was the worst thing. All I want to do is be out there." I said, "Well, now you have to understand how lucky you are to be able to play as much as you do, because there's going to be a time, the better the athlete, the higher level they're going to start to play, and you're not going to be the best player on the team in future years. You might." You might be playing on a team that's much older than you, so you got to understand how lucky you are to be able to have that, and then understand what it's like for those players that don't get to play as much, because you have to have that empathy. And if you don't experience that, it's easy to think and take it for granted. These kids that are really good at a young age, and then what happens? They lose their drive and their motivation, because all of a sudden they start to play with this much more elite level, and they're not as good as they once was. They once were. Now that's where they get. But what they don't understand is that's where the adaptation takes place, when they play above their level. Yeah. Now they're getting these.
They push harder. They try harder. They want to play.
Yeah. But
when
what
you're
happens
little,
is
everybody plays.
Now they're like, "Oh, I don't want to do that anymore because it wasn't fun. I had to sit on the bench, and I don't know why I'm not playing." You're not playing because you're not good enough, and that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
You just got to keep hanging out with them.
Yeah, the more you hang out with those
like
people,
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about it. Why do you think I work out with you every day?
So you can get better.
Exactly. See what I did there?
You like that, huh?
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Embrace it sometimes. It's okay. Obviously, we don't strive for failure, but do enough that you're gonna find yourself in spots that you might have thought the outcome was going to be different. So
if you see Nate in the gym, if you go here, just let him know it's okay to swallow pills.
Let him know you've got the fish oil on standby for him. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a great rest of your day. This is Built by Vitality Podcast.